Hello, Boogie2988 fans, and welcome back to the Half Baked Podcast. I am Nick DiOrio. Here with me, I have Tom and Vega. How's it going?
What up?
Yo, we're gonna be talking about more abuse. Vega, you got one episode where we didn't talk about abuse allegations.
We're back, baby.
We're fully back.
We
Yeah,
are so back. For once, I actually know some of the shit that's going on with the streamer that we've stated before.
You're a fan of him. You love him.
Yeah.
that's because Vega's been supposed to be making his videos, but he's been watching Warzone and playing Warzone the entire time.
I haven't played
so
Warzone in a long time, my boy. Long
Wait,
time.
did you finally delete it for good?
Yeah, it's gone.
Honestly, it's better than me with Fortnite. I just dump more money into stupid skins.
I've seen your streams, yeah.
But dude, I have
Just stick to the pinball.
I know you don't understand. When I do the Fortnite skins, I have for everything. So when I was covering this, I put myself as the Predator, like the Predator. But I also had Grogu, so it was like the Predator and the Child.
Oh my god, bro.
As I was explaining it.
All right, speaking of this,
So,
the backstory, I told you guys, not super familiar with it, or I just don't remember it. I remember it all going down. I know, Tom, you got the deep lore.
Yeah.
Hit us with that.
I'm autistic. Sorry, I just spilled chicken soup on myself again. I'm eating chicken soup right now while we
What the
record our podcast. It's not really chicken soup. It's okay. Gamer Sub sent me whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
This is not a sponsored stream. You cut that out. Jesus.
this is sponsored. Shout out to.
By the way, my Tesla referral link is in the description. If you buy a car, that you got $1,000 off. Not sponsored.
Shout out to Game Fuel, Dr. Disrespect version, available now. Anyway, what we're talking about today is the Dr. Disrespect situation. Essentially, the way that this started was, it started back in 2020 when Doc was banned. Do you guys remember what it was like when Doc was banned? The absolute pandemonium that was going on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it felt like it was probably the biggest thing that happened in gaming that year. I don't think there was anything bigger. And it was such a weird mystery to not find out. The funny thing is what actually went down with this whole minor and stuff like that, I had written that off because I thought oh, okay, if that's the way it's going to go, surely they would tell us, right?
Right. Yeah. I thought it would have come out for sure.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Especially because seemingly every other high-profile ban that we've heard of that has been for something like that, we know about it, right? Like, that was kind of our expectation.
Yeah.
But at the time, there were a lot of conspiracies. I saw people talking about, because Mixer was a thing at the time. Microsoft had this streaming site called Mixer that was getting a little bit of traction, really only because Ninja was over there, and people thought maybe Doc was fielding a contract with Mixer, and that's why Twitch banned him. Mm-hmm. There was speculation around, I was talking to people. I remember this one guy I know, a YouTuber. I'll choose to maintain his anonymity, but he told me that he was like, I know the reason Doc got banned. I saw this clip from him from back during his last stream, and he was talking about COVID, and that's why they banned him, for COVID misinformation.
Crazy.
I mean, maybe that's the most likely explanation that made sense to me at the time, because they did ban Sneeko around the same time.
Keem told us a whole story about how he cheated on his wife with a Twitch employee and pushed her or whatever, and that was the story that he personally believed behind the scenes. So even people who have industry connections were getting told wild goose chased tall tales.
Right.
I even heard the one where at the end of the stream, I know you guys saw this. It was a tweet that went viral, and they showed the last moments, and Doc was like, we're going to get through this. And then he starts looking around frantically. He's like, oh, fuck. And then the stream ends.
Right.
And then everybody was like, oh, he got swatted. That was when the police were going in. Oh, yeah, this and that. I was like, dog.
Yeah, they must have found drugs or something.
And it's funny because Jeff is another one of the guys that watches Doc, on and off, whatever.
Jeff Huffman, Tommy C's co-host.
Shout out SFDP. And I think we message each other. Anytime anything Doc like this happens, we message each other and we kind of laugh about it, because people clearly that are doing all that don't watch his streams or don't understand the character. And he's done that so many times over the years that I just shrug my shoulders and whatever, right? And then fucking everybody came out with these conspiracies. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
Right.
That is literally part of the character.
And behind the scenes, I know that there were rumors floating around with a lot of YouTubers. I was told by a YouTuber, obviously, once again, I'll maintain their anonymity, but I was told by them that Doc was banned for some kind of sexual assault allegation. But this was just behind the scenes random shit. I had no proof for it. They were like, I don't want you to run with this or whatever. This is deep state info. I don't even know if it's true myself. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But then we finally got an update 4 years later after his ban. And it started with this guy named Cody Connors. Now, Cody Connors is an ex-Twitch employee, so he's not an employee there now. He's not contractually obligated to anything regarding Twitch. And he randomly tweeted out one day, without even naming who it was. He just said, I know why the Doc got banned. The reason he got banned is because he sexted a minor. That's essentially what Cody Connors said. And people pretty quickly figured out he was talking about Dr. Disrespect, because Cody had been mentioning Doc on and off, in tweets for a while. And it was also just who else could it be, right? The highest profile Twitch ban of all time. Right. Something people really didn't expect. So they figured that out. But for the time being, nobody responded to it. And then Jake Lucky, who is kind of like the esports scarce Keemstar type figure, right?
Right.
I know a lot of people have problems with him, but whatever your problems with him may be, he kind of signal boosts the allegation. He tweets it out and he says, Cody Connors alleges the reason Dr. Disrespect got banned was because of this, right? And Doc, his response at first was not the response we would eventually get, because at first he gave very, very vague statements at the time. Just to go over exactly what Cody said. Cody said he got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision. Fuck him and his boys. His boys seemingly referring to like Nickmercs or
Tim Tapman, yeah.
Yeah, guys like that, right? So a lot of people saw his post initially. They asked for, proof. Jake Lucky didn't ask for proof. He just signal boosted it, which looking back probably could have been a big risk, because if Doc had been innocent of all these charges or crimes, or, not crimes, allegations, right? If he had been completely innocent, then Jake Lucky would have looked like a fucking shithead. But Doc ends up responding, and he gives a really, really weird response, which left a lot of people confused.
Here we go.
He says, Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. Now, you would think if there was some kind of, allegation made against you, and it was false, instead of saying there was no wrongdoing acknowledged, they paid out the whole contract, you would think you'd be like, I'm not a pedophile, right? I feel like if somebody accused anyone of sexting a minor and it was a false allegation, the person being accused would be like, I didn't do it.
Yep.
But instead he gave this really weird legalese kind of response. And I think at the time, a lot of people wrote that off as like, okay, well, maybe he's not talking about it because, contractually obligated because of whatever settlement he reached with Twitch or something like that.
Right.
But the weirdest thing I think to a lot of people was that if he wasn't found guilty of anything, or if there weren't any real allegations,
why would they pay the contract?
and also, if nothing happened, he could talk about it, right? Like if there was no actual serious allegation made that had any validity to it, then he could just talk about that publicly, right?
Right.
There'd be no reason not to if it wasn't even a sticking point in the lawsuit. Now, Doc would make another tweet the next day because there were a lot of people asking about it. And here's what he said. He said, listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say since this is the fucking internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All of this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday. So this one was a little more definitive. He said, I didn't do anything wrong. He said no wrongdoing was found. It was probed and settled. But the kind of weird legal speak he's using, right? The kind of weird way that he phrases this.
Fucking hate it, yeah.
People hate that kind of shit, right? And not only that, but he wouldn't just say, I didn't do it. And so you had this top reply from Barely Sociable, a pretty big channel, and I think he gave a pretty good response as far as, the questions. He said, nothing says transparency quite like all parties being gag ordered and reaching a settlement behind closed doors. In essence, we investigated ourselves and found nothing. Also, there's a conflict of interest when both parties' legal teams benefit from burying the situation. So it was a really weird tweet overall, and people still had a lot of questions. I remember at the time Critical was making videos, Ludwig was making videos, what the fuck is going on, It was kind of a thing where they had to hedge their bets in the favor of it being an allegation, because we still didn't know.
Yeah.
You had Cody Connors saying one thing, and then Doc was just like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't found legally, in the wrong or anything. Nothing bad happened. I'm a good guy, right? That kind of thing. So there were still a lot of questions, and I remember at the time I was so confused, and I thought that would be the end of it, right? I thought that would be the end of it. You would think. But then Doc starts getting a lot more pressure on him, and I have a funny list here. I say funny. I know it's wrong to shit on people's sponsors being taken away, but given what he did, I don't feel that bad. But I have a list of every sponsorship that dropped him. And I want to go through these because I don't think everybody knows how bad it got.
Well,
okay,
the main one that everyone was talking about was the San Francisco 40 miners.
Oh.
Did you ever say it that way? You couldn't help yourself. Could you?
Oh, no, it's just...
You really couldn't help yourself.
No, we're piling it.
Well, the first one he got dropped from was actually Turtle Beach. Okay, they make gaming headphones. He got dropped from them. Then he got followed by 2K, right? NBA 2K, their publisher, removed him from the game. Then the 40 miners, they dropped him. Keep in mind, Doc was allowed by the 49ers to make an appearance at the 2022 NFL Draft, which I'm not a sports head, but that's a big deal, Nick, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big deal. Shout out sports heads. Then he gets dropped by Game Fuel, and Game Fuel, from what I understand, it's like Mountain Dew's brand.
Yeah, it's like Dew Doritos. Game Fuel is the they really pushed that around when Halo 3 launched, and then they kept bringing it back with Call of Duty for a while.
Right, so he gets dropped from that.
I guess they didn't want Boogie to be their spokesperson for their drink.
Then there's this company called High Risk Studios, and they pull all of his merch stuff from Rogue Company after he had these allegations made. And this stuff was all really bad. But still, all of these people are not people who knew Doc, and they're also really big brands, right? So, if there's an allegation made, they might drop him anyway. So there was still some plausible deniability. It looks like he was being dropped by everyone who was super brand friendly, but didn't have a tie to Doc, right? So at this point, you could still say there was some plausible deniability for Doc, right? And so Doc sees all this happening. He decides to go live. He goes live on the 24th of June. And this is the one where we have we came in here high energy, but, the draining nature of social media I got to take a vacation, It doesn't go very well. At the end of that stream, he announces that he's stepping away from Midnight Society, which is not just a sponsorship, right? Midnight Society is his gaming studio.
Co-founder of the company.
And this is like a huge deal that he's stepping away from this, something of this level. But what's weird about that is that then, right after his stream, shuts off, Midnight Society tweets themselves saying that they decided to drop him. And the phrasing they use is really interesting. Really, really interesting. They say, on Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beam, also known as Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families who have employed along with our community of players. So at this point, Doc has been dropped by every major sponsorship he had, right? All the big companies. He's been dropped by his own studio. And while he tried to frame it publicly like, oh, I'm stepping away, they framed it like we're done with it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a very similar thing to what happened with Chris Tyson, where, Chris Tyson's like, I'm stepping away from Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is like, I kicked that bitch out.
Yeah.
Similar situation.
I'm going to just say something before you continue, bro.
Sure.
That Midnight Society tweet for the audience is going to be important later on when we talk about the final response, the most updated one. It's going to be important. So keep that in mind. Tom, please continue. You're doing a great job.
So the Midnight Society tweet came out, and I think the most concerning thing about not only does the discrepancy between what Doc said and what Chris Chris from
Mr. Beast. Yeah, dude.
The most concerning thing about the discrepancy between what Doc said and what Midnight Society said is not only the fact that they have kind of different viewpoints on who kicked who and who left at one point in time, but also the fact that Midnight Society says, we assumed his innocence, and they then go on to say, we talked to other parties involved, and we decided that we don't want to be around this guy anymore, which is really concerning, right? Because it's not like they went into it with the assumption, seemingly, that he was guilty. And on top of that, why would they go into the assumption with he's guilty when, it's his company?
Yeah.
So it's a very, concerning thing. All of this happening pushed Doc into a corner. He realized he was losing everything, and he decided to make a statement. Now, that statement is now deleted, unfortunately, but I do still have it here.
The whole internet has it, apparently. Yeah.
Nick, do you want to take this one away with reading it?
The Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. Okay, so he can't even say that, like, oh, hey guys, I'm just giving a pre-written statement by my legal team. No, this is supposedly when he's throwing it all to the wind, all right?
Right.
Let's cut the fucking bullshit. You know there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything I could be upfront about. I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I. We made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families that I never want to jeopardize the culture we've carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the allegations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban.
Here we go.
Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes.
Ooh, boy.
Was there real intention behind those messages? The answer is absolutely not.
Have a seat.
These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned a little too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration case regarding my civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll take some responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should never have happened. I get it. I'm not perfect. I'll fucking own my shit. It was stupid. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone who knows the doc knows that where I stand on those things with those types of people, fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
So before we proceed, I want to delve a little more into the language he uses because I feel like a lot of it is kind of a self-report.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, apart from the fact he says, "Did I message a minor?" Yes, I did. Apart from that,
wait. Which version of the thing we're reading? He took minor out and then put it back in.
That is true.
Like,
this is the one with minor. Yes.
Yeah.
The line directly following that is, "Were there real intentions behind these messages? Why would there even be a question of real intentions if there wasn't some kind of sexual conversation taking place?" Right? There's no question about real intentions if you're just like, haha, boobs or something, right? Like, it doesn't even seem like this was some kind of casual conversation in which a joke about the idea of sex as a concept came up. He specifically uses the wording real intentions.
Theory crafting would be like, I'm gonna torture and murder your mother. Are there real intentions behind that? No, I'm just telling him he's a cocksucker, you know, that kind of shit. That doesn't feel like the vibe of the tweet, you know?
You're thinking it was mustache rides. Okay?
Okay, here we go.
Listen,
Mustache
all right? No,
rides.
listen. I watched Dr. Disrespect's statement today,
Right.
and I'm very, very. It's clear to me.
What do we know?
That they were trying to.
It's about Nerd City.
Oh my
They were
god.
trying to move the strong masculine white guy out to bring in Kai Cenat.
Fucking Nick, bro.
Feminine black
And
men, as we all know.
I show speed, you know? It's so obvious. They had a deer on the payroll, all right? I don't know how you watched that Dr. Disrespect stream yesterday and not think about the fucking deer on the payroll, you know?
Yeah, Jesus. When you guys gonna kiss and make up? Jesus.
Never.
Apparently not.
He's still mad that Josh is in a cave.
Josh is in a cave. He's in the goon cave, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there right
He
now.
can't help himself, bro. He cannot help himself.
How do we even get back? How do we even get back to this podcast? I think it's obvious that this statement, in and of itself, with what he admitted
It's
to,
fucking crazy.
is crazy, and also was enough for most people to drop him, right? Because it was an admission that something inappropriate happened with a minor. On top of that, he follows up a statement about what he actually did by saying that, you know, it was morally wrong and he'll take responsibility for what he did, how we never should have entertained these conversations, right? He's very much leading on to the fact that there was some kind of like, you know, I'd say borderline kind of flirtatious vibe as to what was going on. Now, we haven't actually seen the messages, of course, so maybe it's some fucking crazy world. Doc accidentally admitted that he did something worse than he actually did in those messages, but I think that's very unlikely. And so as a result, this big statement was kind of the Dr. Disrespect cancellation. You know, he got a lot of pedophile memes, people bullied him on the internet for a while, and he decided to leave for a while. He took a break. But then he starts posting a few teasers. You know, he posts one teaser that was in his Twitter banner. It was a picture of his statement floating into the bottom of the ocean, and he ended up deleting this long statement. Definitely bait. He posted the one very infamous, it's a picture where he's playing chess.
He's playing chess while we're playing checkers.
And obviously the natural joke was, are you playing chess with a child?
Yeah, people were commenting on the camera angle being a little too low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't really understand chess, so it's obvious the kid is playing checkers. You know?
Right.
Then we got a post from him just the other day.
Well,
which
before
was
you get to
him-
that, can I ask, what were your guys' theory at the time? Do you guys remember? Or was it just, oh, you know what? He just admitted to a fuck
It's
him.
a confession. He just confessed. That was it.
Yeah.
That was dude, this is not a 20-year-old kid. This is not a 21-year-old guy.
Right.
All right. This is a fucking 30-plus-year-old man with a kid. There's no close in age exception for whatever the fuck this is. All right, you fucked up. You fucking talked to a minor. That's what happened.
Well, okay. Well, let's just to cover that before we move on
Mm-hmm.
is when you see the language of this at any point, because you guys are grown men,
Yeah.
maybe not 40 or whatever the fuck, but you guys are still grown men. You got some life under your belt. When you read that, and what I do with the internet as well is I kind of put almost that person that's writing it as if they're in the fucking room.
Yeah.
What would I do when I hear that? When I see this, and this will be important later, right? How confusing the shit gets is I read that, and me and Jeff, as we discussed at the beginning of the podcast, we started DMing each other. Obviously, we're like, what the fuck what is all this bullshit? And then we started doing a little theory crafting, and at the end, we agreed, dude, we're just coping. The guy says it right there, right? Like, what else do you kind of
it's-
mean by that?
If it was jokes back then, he'd have said it was jokes that were taken out of context by Twitch.
Yep.
Well, why? What rationale can you come to on why he would not say they're jokes taken out of context in his response? It's not like this is written from a legal perspective or something that a lawyer approved or written.
Yeah, it starts
could have
off
been
with
that
like, I'm
way.
going to tell you the fucking truth. I'm being real with you.
It starts with like, this is Doc. I'm telling you the truth. I'm tweeting in character.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to like suspend that level of disbelief to get there.
And some of the things that we were coming up with wound up, you know, we We didn't say it in public or anything. Privately, I don't know if anybody else was tweeting this out. Probably a dangerous thing to do, I guess. But we were, going in back and forth. What does inappropriate mean? I could say I'm going to fuck your mother. That's inappropriate if I'm talking to a minor.
Mustache
rides, or whatever. All kinds of stuff we were coming up with.
Dick Club.
And we came to the conclusion, if it is, I didn't know he or she was 17 or 14 or 16. Minor means a lot of things, right? You're under the age of 18.
This is also happening while he was cheating on his wife, by the way. Like in the same time frame.
Yeah, this didn't happen at the time of the tweet.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. And the guy in his position, you cheat on your wife, sure, bro. You want to go fuck celebrities, do all your stuff. That's none of my business, bro. When you're talking about you're going under 18, that's a different ballpark.
Well, you hear the same story from a lot of people who get big. They just start sexting everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody. Everyone's throwing themselves at him and they're just listening.
And you would say if a minor or somebody doesn't tell him, right, and then they're going back and forth, that may be something to be like, reasonably.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Well, maybe he didn't know the age. Well, if he didn't know the age, that'd have been the first thing on there. The second thing would be that the kid is 17 years old, which I still don't believe because it was never placed in the statement. And the third thing is that they were jokes.
But if they were 17, why would he not say that?
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And people are like, well, Tom, does that make it okay? Well, no, but it's the least bad option of the bad options.
Yeah.
All right. For people who don't believe that, what if it was 12? Would your opinion change between a 17 and a 12-year-old? Yes,
exactly.
It absolutely fucking would.
Yeah.
And for those that might be like, yo, fuck Nick, this is bullshit, 17. Guys, be reasonable here for a second. What were you doing when you were 16 and 17? Were you walking around with a Hello Kitty backpack and shit, sucking on your fucking thumb? No, you were probably out drinking, skipping school, going to parties, fucking drinking, doing all kinds of shit adults do.
Vega, what fucking community do you think is watching this?
I'm just saying.
I don't think they're doing that now.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm going to be honest with you. The 23-year-olds listening to this are sucking their thumbs with their Hello Kitty backpacks. and they're all...
All right, fair enough.
And they're all guys dressing as women. But anyhow,
you know what? Maybe I'm just too old, bro. I'm just too old. I'm out of touch.
You're definitely unk status right now.
Yeah. What I'm saying is my whole perspective.
On the YouTube drama subreddit now, by the way.
My whole thing would be like, it's still not okay to dive into those waters. It don't matter what those people are doing.
Yeah, of course.
Why? Because those 17, 16-year-olds and all that, they're doing it with each other. They're about to enter adulthood, and they're already exploring. They're doing all these shit, smoking cigarettes. You name it, right?
There was one thing that went crazy is like Pokimane came out and said, dude, I feel bad for his fucking kid when they grow up and see that their fucking dad got banned for talking to them. And then fucking people were like, yeah, well, guess what? You don't even have kids, you fucking disgusting used whore or something like that. And you know that was Jeremy. You know Jeremy, famous person who couldn't get his wife pregnant?
Jeremy.
Wait, the Quartering said that?
Oh, the Quartering.
The Quartering was talking about Pokimane not having kids and he's older.
Wow.
Bro, fire. Great. Okay.
Famous childless Jeremy.
Why would he say that? That's crazy.
Regardless of that, I think, another thing that I think a lot of people are going to bring up in regards to his response is like, well, he didn't say exactly what he did. And it's like, okay, but don't you think if it genuinely wasn't bad, then he would have just said it? Look, I was talking to this fan, I knew their age, but, there was no intention of fucking them. We didn't have any sexual conversations. But at one point I was just like, oh, I'm going to fuck your mom or something. And
yeah,
I shouldn't have said it. It was just a joke. I didn't really think about it. I, got caught up in the barrier of the screen, right? But I never made a sexual joke about them. Like, if he had said that, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, everybody does a lot of stupid shit on the internet. We get it, dude. Just keep going. It's all good. Right. No worries.
But that in and of itself is just like, that's like the strict definition to me of like, it's kind of inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
And if that had been the case, he could have just acknowledged it, and I think most of this would have gone away. But that's not what he did.
But that didn't happen. Yeah.
No. He refused to say what he actually did specifically.
Interesting.
He kept it as vague as possible.
Interesting.
He also apologized for it, clearly acknowledging that whatever he did was very bad.
Dude, he wrote his friends in private and were like, yo, I'm sorry for dragging you into this, the day he posted this response. And after we get off, I got to talk about Nickmercs after this. You got to remind me. I got to get into that, but
sure.
Keep going.
And so, to me, there was really no defense, but Doc still wanted to defend himself. He ended up coming back to stream
2 months later.
Right, 2 months later. And when he started streaming, I thought he was just going to do a gaming stream. I didn't think he was even going to talk about it. Surprisingly, he did talk about it for about 20 minutes. He talked about the situation, and there was a lot that was said. Nick, do you want to pick out some of your favorite moments?
Yeah, my favorite one came in the after portion when he was already done talking. And most videos don't have this. It's on my Twitter. I'm sure we'll put it in here. The clip where somebody goes, I want to see the messages. I want to see the messages. Doc's mocking him, and he goes,
people want to show the message. Release the messages. Show the messages. What are we in second grade?
God. That one in and of itself. This whole thing has been like, we need to see the messages. We need to see the messages. Nerd City himself, I need to see those messages because I don't know what was going on in there. And now, all of a sudden, Doc doesn't want to see the messages anymore. Go look at all the comment sections. Twitch should show them. Doc doesn't need to. Doc proved his innocence with spoken word testimony. That was what all of this was, by the way. The guy who's now Django Unchained and he can tell everybody about the lawsuit didn't bring a single screenshot to the show. He just told everybody a fucking conspiracy theory about how his partner manager hates him. By the way, didn't even name the guy, okay? We can't even get a name on the partner manager that ruined his life. We're protecting that person's identity, I guess, or something that, like, helps smear him as a fucking pedo to the entire internet. This wasn't just nothing. This was advanced nothing. He's bragging about how he has more to show from the nothing he's already talked about.
Well, that's the end, at the end part, right?
Yeah.
And I get why everybody's pissed about that. The things that I found very curious about this, the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys that we were going through of making sense and then plummeting into what the fuck are you talking about?
Give me one of the peaks, Vega.
Well,
Give me one of the peaks.
Here's a peak of interest, I guess we'll say.
Because I got a valley for when you're done.
Yeah.
I want to hear the peaks.
All right, let's go through this motherfucker. Around the beginning of the stream, the guy's name is Cody Connors.
Yes.
This is the guy who leaks the allegation initially.
The guy who leaked the allegations, right? Ex-Twitch employee. You, in your language, stated that I was sexting. Do you know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. So let's stop his quote right there and let's look up the definition, which is very curious that you would use that language. The legal definition is sexting is the act of sending explicit images to another person using digital devices. And then it goes on to tell you how it's punishable. But that is the definition.
I don't even think you could send photos on Whisper.
So when you say that, it's unnecessary because later on we'll find out why it's unnecessary in a statement. That's what I mean by the peaks and valleys, right? Here, that just makes it sound more like legalese and saying, we didn't exchange images. Okay, but what about everything else,
Right.
dude?
It's like, well, legally it's not sexting.
his whole
right?
his whole argument boils down to the fact that it's like, yeah, you could say what I did was bad, but it doesn't meet the legal requirements to actually do anything to me. So because we're arguing this purely from a legal perspective, I'm actually innocent.
Okay, so I didn't send you a picture of but I told you I'm going to come in your, I guess bleep all that out. But you get where the point would be there,
Yeah.
right? So to us in the public, not a judge, to us, that's clearly sexting.
And even if you want to say, oh, it's not sexting, but this definition, okay, let's say it's not sexting. It's a bad thing to do with a kid.
Like, why are you messaging a minor inappropriately as a fucking father? Like, that's fucking crazy.
And like, why is your only response to be like very, very vague with what actually happened and to just be like, well, it wasn't illegal. It's not legally sexting. That's your only response. Like, just if it wasn't bad, just tell us what you said.
I got one of those valleys that Vega was talking about. How about when he compared just messaging a minor to a Twitch streamer who didn't get banned because he said the N-word?
No, I don't. That was later on.
Why didn't I get one of these? That's because you were talking to a kid.
Yeah, well,
That's why you didn't get a meeting.
right next to that one, he follows up with defining minor because the guy accused him of sexting a minor.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to say, he intentionally emphasized that word in a tweet because Cody Connors used that word in the tweet, and now we're getting crazy. Like, why? For what? Because that guy used it? Anyway. Oh, you wanted to meet up with this minor at TwitchCon is the accusation, right? He says very definitively, and I believe it's a quote, "We never have or ever intended to meet in person ever." Now that's a statement that is like, there's no evidence that you can find that ever happened. That's what that says to me. When you get into you use the word minor, do you know what the legal definition and all this crazy shit? It's like,
yeah,
okay.
he was selectively vague. It's the slam dunks, he was precision mode, right?
Yes.
But then anytime it was like, anytime I personally think he's guilty, all of his responses were just like, I'm not going to give you any information about this, champs. Sorry.
It just, I don't know. It was just, it didn't vibe right with me.
Yeah.
As far as that was concerned.
No, he just decided, like, hey, okay, clearly Twitch is not releasing these logs. It's been 2 months. I'm now free reign. I can say whatever I want. Okay, because their whole thing is we can't because we're protecting the victim. And there's the argument of whether they can even legally release messages of a minor in that setting, even though, honestly, I think out of context Doc messages would probably be better because at least Doc can try to fill in the blanks on what happened in those messages. And I might actually be more inclined to listen there. He knows this is not coming back. Like, there's no response coming from Twitch at all whatsoever. So he's free to just lie.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I don't think so.
The company probably not.
No, maybe a disgruntled employee, but
To be honest, it feels like the way that he responded before when all the heat was on him versus now when he thinks he can win is based on the idea that more information could have come out, right?
And they gave away their hand. They gave away their whole hand. Cody Connors has never seen the messages. Slasher, who wrote the article, has never seen seen the messages. There's one guy, at least that I know, potentially two, depending on if they got another source, that has seen it on the trust and safety team. He was getting updates on the status of the victim. Okay, so the people reporting on this story, for the most part, have no idea what was even said in those messages. That's like the biggest point for Doc here, is it's just so obvious that Twitch fucked this whole situation from to Sunday.
But Doc had such a perfect serve and ended up admitting to what he did anyway.
Yeah, like why didn't he say, well, if I was a pedophile, champs, why would they pay me out my full contract?
Yeah, kind of just lean into it.
You don't think there was something in the contract that would make them not have to pay a pedophile, champs?
But instead, he got scared because there were leaks happening, and I think he thought the messages might get out, and he wanted to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what he did.
I think probably what you guys think. He tweeted that out in a panic. He fucked it up, edited it, and he's like the general Thrawn of fucking streaming right now, right? Oh, I did that on purpose. It was all part of the plan. I think it was all fucked up.
I used the word minor to catch them.
And then he's saying he's going to sue the people who reported what he said. Keep in mind, these outlets literally said Dr. Disrespect admits to having inappropriate interactions with a minor, which is his wording verbatim. And now he's like, I'm going to sue these people. By the way, he's just lying. He's not going to sue them. He has never had any intention of suing them. It's not going to happen. Straight up.
Here's my issue too with, I said that all intentionally just to bait people, right? If you, me, all three of us were in a room and we're with Doc, all of us are getting tweets, all these accusations, and then instead of tweeting, us in the room, his boys, right? He goes and we just say, hey, dude, what is all this shit? And he said, yeah, okay, look, I inappropriately messaged a minor. Now, as men, right, my response, I don't know about you two, but my response would be like, all right, homie, before I start swinging or boot you the fuck out of here, what you mean inappropriate, bro? Because we already got minor out the way.
Vega's telling you the truth here. He pressed somebody at VidCon because there was a slight allegation that they had done something wrong.
Yeah.
You got in, I'm not going to say who it was. You got in their face. He's like, so what, you going to tell me what you do with this so-and-so?
Yeah,
huh?
well, I'm saying,
Wait,
though,
I don't know about this. What are you talking about?
don't worry about it.
Wait, no.
I guess ask around, Tom. There you go. Ask around. There was other people there.
All right.
Well, I just said, well, I'll tell you later, I guess.
I thought, okay, sorry. In my mind, I don't know why, but I thought you were saying Doc pressed someone that we knew about some kind of allegation.
Oh, no.
Dude, Dr. Disrespect rolled up to a VidCon party. Dude, that's why Augie left.
I thought you were saying, like, Dr. Disrespect rolled up on, like, Lion Maker or something. Dr. Disrespect rolls up on Red Kiwis and was like,
Dude.
hey, champ.
Hey, champ.
You feel a hand on your shoulder, you hear, hey, champ, you look around, he's like, heard you were messaging kids.
Hey, Tipster, I heard you're pansexual. Okay.
Hey, Nerd City.
Okay.
I want to talk about the cats.
There's animal abuse in your Discord, sir. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, man.
So
Dude.
when you say something like that on the internet and then you come out and he literally said he purposely used those words that were used against him to bait journalists. If you're doing that, what is going through your motherfucking head, bro? That you're saying this stuff. What do you think? From kids to grown adults, every human being, when they read something like that, they're immediately going to go to it. Is that a reflection of an internet poisoning our brains and we're being toxic? Kind of, and not really,
But
bro.
dude, have you seen his sunglasses?
But the real point here is that there's no reason in which any person with any amount of like brain cells would ever, at the position that he's in, when he's being accused of being a pedophile, say, yes, I am one, and then see people report it, but then be like, actually, the reason I said that was so that I could then sue people who said that I said that.
Insane.
Which is, like, that doesn't even make sense. He's not suing anyone.
You're completely, you're disregarding his insane aura.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's
My bad.
thanking you for the galaxy, like right now.
Aura!
Yeah.
Two-time blockbuster champion or whatever.
No, bro, I brought this up on Twitter today. I'm going to give you the same hypothetical here, okay? If this was Keemstar, who announced that he met his girlfriend when she was 16 years old in a state where that was legal, would you be saying, oh, Keem didn't break the law, why are you going after him?
Right.
No, you'd be calling him a pedophile. You're calling him a pedophile because he's dating a 23-year-old woman right now.
No, but the thing is, I don't even know if the people who are defending Doc right now even know what he did or what he's accused of. I think they just saw his response and they use the very vague information that he gave to interpret it as he was slandered and did nothing wrong and just ran with that. I feel like they haven't even seen like one commentary video talking about this. I feel like they don't even know what he tweeted.
Yeah, a lot of his audience doesn't fuck with any of that shit.
But there's crazy people who do know about this, and they're writing shit like, The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children said that he was good. What the fuck does that mean? Source?
You know what? I have a question. Okay. What the fuck is going on with Keemstar?
Dude, all of his takes on this are terrible, almost to the point of parody, to the point where I don't even believe they're real opinions at this point. I think he's just farming hate. He has to be.
Do you think he's lying about how he feels? I feel like he must be baiting, because there's no way. There's no way. I feel like he's never been this retarded on a controversy.
All of his tweets are like, Doc is innocent, Doc's response is great. There are people saying Doc's response is great. Actually, can I fucking curl it? I have to say this, all right? Because this is actually super tying into what we're talking about. I feel so bad for Nickmercs, okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Fuck,
yeah.
if you want to hate him because his takes on fucking trans people, be my guest, all right? That's not what we're talking about. He did everything right in this controversy. The dude stood by his friend and he took shit, okay? After he stood by his friend, he took some shit. Doc comes out, confesses, tells him in the group chat, hey, sorry for dragging you into this, right? Then he disavows Doc immediately, does the right thing again, okay?
Right.
Now Doc comes out and gives a nothing conspiracy answer saying, I didn't do it, guys. I'm walking back everything I said. And they're saying that you're a piece of shit, Nickmercs, because you're using Doc for money, and like he had your back, but you didn't have his back.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Like, what the fuck? Go look at his newest video. He called out every problem in Doc's video, and the whole comment section is raking him in over the coals. And I've never seen anything like this. He can't win.
In you guys' positions, would you just take the Nickmercs position, and why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Defend your friend as long as you can defend his friend.
I think Nick did the only thing you can do to be like a responsible person. He was like, he saw his friend being accused. He didn't believe it without proof.
Yeah, he said that, yeah.
And
dude, it's a confession. Right? It's not even proof. It's a fucking confession.
Then
yeah.
Doc, instead of proof coming out, Doc confesses to what he did. Right, publicly, and messages Nick being like, sorry you're involved in this. That is why Nick decided to be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's a normal thing to say.
And now he's not even taking zero accountability. He's taking zero accountability. The dude's in the Smash community. What the fuck is going on? He just walked back his confession? I guess he had a really nice steak dinner over on vacation, and that kept him going. It's ridiculous. There's so many people defending him.
Imagine anyone else doing something like this.
Yeah, imagine a third person doing this again.
Imagine if any of the people, like we had made videos about, were like, I did it, and then people talked about it, and then they were like, actually, I didn't do it. I baited you.
Yeah, imagine.
That's great.
It's insane.
This was actually my suicide attempt. Yeah, imagine if two people did that.
Lol.
Dude, okay, if I was Nickmercs, maybe he's not thinking this. Maybe you find yourself in this position one day, audience member, Nick or Tom. One of the things I see here also, if I was his homie and this happened and I'm in Nick's position or Tim's position, Dr. Lupo, any one of those guys in his crew, one of the first things would be like, homie, I'm your boy. Why didn't you just say, hey, dude, all this shit, it's bullshit. I can't get any details, but I will. I got to take some time with me and my family, man. You're the homie. Don't get involved if you don't want to, but rest assured, I'm going to clear this shit up. And I would be like, you know what? All right, cool. You put me in a fucked up spot. Oh, and I'll tell Doc too straight up, hey, dude, I'm going to say this little conversation took place, bro, because this is some bullshit you got me into. Say I'm Nickmercs, right? Me and Doc had a conversation, and until he gets back, I ain't going to talk about this shit, right? Because apparently there's more to the story, so I'm going to leave it at that. And then continue with my business until he came back, and then we'll make our decision later. He didn't say none of that. Just, I'm sorry I dragged you into this. So what does that tell me as a friend? You're telling me that you use me, and not only me, my career that I built from fucking nothing, my wife, my kid, my empire, as a pawn in some fucking game that you're playing with a bunch of people that are accusing you of shit that you apparently are not guilty of, yet you confess to. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Eat a dick. Fuck off, bro. Do not talk to me again. Never come around. If I see you in person, it's on site.
But
bro.
also, like, this idea that friendship is just like this everlasting thing that, like, no matter what the other person does, you have to stick by them is retarded.
Yeah,
like,
it's bullshit. Yeah.
I love having friends, and I'm forgiving of friends, more forgiving than I am with people I don't know, obviously. But like, if I find out they did something reprehensible and they confess that to me, like, I'm not going to want to be around them anymore.
Yeah.
If they say, if one of my best buddies, okay, if one of my content buddies said, hey, Tom, I had inappropriate interactions with a minor, and they're currently being accused of sexting a minor and trying to meet up with them, and they're like, yeah, I did that, I would not want to be friends with that person anymore.
And again, these guys had a group chat. If he wanted to be more specific and say, hey guys, it was just jokes or something, like any of the stuff he put in his most recent response, and he wanted to send that to Nick, and he wanted to send that to Tim, he could have. Absolutely could have sent that.
If he wanted to talk about how there was some conspiracy, he could have absolutely talked about it.
Isn't that crazy how you just brought that up, Nick? I happen to have a quote right here. Now, he actually says what the messages were in his video statement. Mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context. which was the basis of the ban. Okay, if that's true, why the fuck did this tweet come out? And why in the flying fuck are we here right now debating anything, bro? That is the statement. Because why? We're not talking about a legal definition of sexting. We're not talking about any of that shit. Because he says explicitly in his video statement, no sexual messages or sexual images were exchanged. That kills everything. The issue is we have so much buried under legalese and trying to define certain things that he's being accused of. X all that shit out. His only response should have been, the shit he's accusing me of didn't happen. I sent no sexual messages. I sent no sexual pictures. We didn't even plan to meet up. That's that. Stream on Monday. That's the statement, and it's over. You keep your friends. You keep your empire. Everybody with a brain is like
if he hadn't done anything, why would anything wrong? Why would he have apologized back then either? Right? Why would he have apologized for what he said?
It just is so confusing. He had no way of knowing the messages he sent to the user were inappropriate. And I'm like, what? Then what? Okay. It's a giant headache. You just run around in circles with this whole thing, dude.
I think we're probably in consensus that he's guilty and fuck him, right?
I don't know. With the statement alone, in the video statement, he goes in chronological order as to all the events that occurred. In my personal opinion, most of that is probably true.
Yeah, it doesn't move the needle. Nothing he said changes my opinion from yesterday.
But both parties have their discovery, right? That's how we found out, because he probably had no idea. Everybody involved gets subpoenaed. You can see their messages, their chat logs, their Discord DMs, Twitter, everything. So that's how he developed that whole story, and that's how we found out, and that's, I think, why he told us.
Yeah, the thing is, his story about what happened with, like, Twitch could be true, but that doesn't exonerate him.
Right.
No, and I think the people who wanted to take something away from this are the ones who did. Like, I think the fans who were looking for a reason to support Doc are the ones who came away from this going like, I was totally wrong. Doc's actually super innocent. You're gonna go like, I think I've seen a couple people who made some weird defenses back then. Say like, Slasher, you're gonna go to hell for this or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Slasher's a shitty journalist, but like, I don't know. It's his job to report this, and he should have just done it better.
Let me ask you this then: do you think without the tweet, where would Doc be right now? And don't say in a better place, because that's obvious.
Without the tweet, if his only statement was this, he probably would have been fine.
Yeah, this was a much better statement if he wanted to sway people. None of them have evidence, but the first statement where he confesses is obviously the worst one.
Yeah, because that one was the truth.
We're firing messages over to Twitch.
Falls in Twitch's court, right? Okay, you're accusing him of doing all this stuff. Show us the proof.
Right. But the problem is, like, when the idea of the proof existing came out, he instantly backed off and apologized and said, I fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was his greatest misstep. And in my opinion, that's when he was in, like, a highly emotional state. Then, when he, decided he could probably get one over on Twitch and try to save his reputation, he decided to make this long, drawn-out statement. But the truth, in my opinion, comes from both. I think this Twitch story probably did happen. There's no proof for it, but it probably did happen just because of how specific it is. And he also did message a minor inappropriately. I think both things can be true.
Yeah, I'd probably agree on that. It's just so crazy because some of the wording here, and like I've said before, what I was saying earlier, was that he definitely worked with lawyers, right? Attorneys handled this video statement. He was reading a script. And a lot of this stuff that he's saying in plain text and exonerate him of any wrongdoing. Because you can't come out and say there were no this, there was no that definitively later on. That's why earlier in the statement I said his later statement in this 20-minute fucking speech is very definitive. Earlier, it's all like legalese and he's dancing around shit. It was almost like for nothing because he clears everything up and he says it flat out. And it's like, homie, you're telling us nothing happened and you specifically said what they're accusing you of is not true. Why did we go through this? Because now, just like you, Tom, right? There's a little bit of both. Something probably did go wrong. Because of that tweet, that's where we're at. Without the tweet, if you make that statement, all you're going to do is look at the journalist and be like, I know you had anonymous sources, but we're going to need some proof now because Doc just gave us a whole lot.
Yeah, and I know people are going to look at this and they're going to try to like point every take we've ever had about any situation mildly like this one, but there isn't many of like this that we really see these days. This is a fucking grown man, all right? This is not a 21 age, close in age exception. There's no Romeo and Juliet laws for this. This is not cool. Like, this is not cool, dude. I'm sorry. You can't be doing this in your 30s. It's just, I don't know. It's you're too old.
And what else do you notice about these statements? He knew that this person was a minor because anywhere does it say from his mouth that he didn't know. So it was intentional. Right?
I thought this shit was going to be fake because I couldn't believe someone would do this on the platform that's contracting them for tons of money, like on their social media site where they know that these employees are reading your DMs. That's just crazy to me.
Wow.
Like imagine how brazen that would be.
Well, I don't know, Nick, because he didn't know that we could look up his edit history on Twitter. Apparently, that turned into like some big plan.
No, he did. It was a trap for the journalists.
Yeah,
we deployed him. Yeah, it was a Jesus. This whole thing is sad. I didn't want this to go down this way. I wanted this dude to be innocent. He still might be, but we're looking at a 90-10 here, I think.
I think there's no reality in which he's innocent. He admitted to it.
I think there's a reality that he drops the DMs. They're wildly, wildly embarrassing.
But I'm thinking it's mustache rides.
Yeah. I think where I sit is that the messages are going to be the only thing that you release to clear this whole thing up. I think Doc will look weird.
The thing is, like, if the messages aren't bad, why would he have apologized? If he genuinely believed he had done nothing wrong, which is what he's saying now, why would he have apologized? It doesn't fucking make sense. There's no reason for it.
It sounds like he should have hired a PR firm to write his statement, unironically. We always joke about how that always goes badly, but this is...
Or he should have just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best move there would have been streaming, and that's it.
But clearly he was emotional about it. He was insecure about it. That's why he's been responding to, everybody on Twitter being like, you have pronouns in your bio.
Yeah, and also he said it's so great to get this off my shoulders, right? In the tweet.
Well, he was just trying to do editing lessons in the Dig Bic Club,
Okay. Fucking your beef with Nerd City is
It's still just the craziest takeaway I've heard of this whole situation is that it was a woke ideology attack to get the fucking white man out of the way so the blacks could rise to power on Twitch. Is the crazy. There's no crazier doc take that I've heard from anyone than renowned, respected, million sub YouTuber Nerd City.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what kind of content he's been watching in the past few years since he's been uploading videos, but yeah, he's fallen down the alt-right pipeline, okay?
Yeah. Jesus, and that's coming from Turkey Tom. He said the N-word before.
See, I'm actually racist, okay?
And he wasn't banned on Twitch. You're the guy.
The thing is, I wish that Twitch would be racist so I can, never use their platform again against white people because, white people are oppressed. As Vega, you're white. You agree with me, obviously.
Oh, of course, yeah.
White pride worldwide type thing.
Yeah, the only reason I'm here is because I'm white, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Vega gets whiter in every artistic drawing on the channel.
Oh, actually, no, I'm getting darker. Haven't you noticed?
Dude,
I'm starting to get darker.
But I also...
we finally put in a word to our artists to remind them that Vega is not actually white.
I literally told all of them, stop drawing me with this pale skin, bro. I am not white.
You're not getting us the credit that we need for the demographics to get our fucking money up, bro.
I'm a DEI hire.
Dude, his new drink is going to be apple juice.
I think there could be some good, allegations there. I mean, I did see Vega at Panera Bread the other day. With
oh,
a Bluetooth
man.
Panera Bread.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I don't know what's going on now.
I heard he's moving to fucking Washington, dude. He's going to live in the Seattle area.
I don't know what's going on now. This is some meme shit.
What's that thing Vosh said about Tacoma?
Tacoma wept.
Tacoma wept when Vega left.
What?
I think that's
Okay.
that's probably about it, right?
So you guys are guilty?
I'm innocent personally, but I do think Doc is guilty.
I think Vega is white. He's guilty of being that. Outside of that, I don't have any other thoughts.
I'd
on
be
the situation.
shocked. I'd be completely shocked if this turns around.
I mean, I think it might turn around for Doc, but I don't think he's innocent.
Any predictions? You think those messages are coming out?
No, it's over.
Okay, just to wrap this up, we're harping on Doc, right?
Yeah.
What about the people that began the accusations without any evidence that he walked right into and admitted to anyway? What about them?
Well, they didn't run mustache rides.
But what about them?
No, I mean, we've all said this. We've aired this one out. Slasher is the biggest hack in the fucking reporting industry. Watch his interview with Dan from the Anything Else podcast. That was one of the worst conversations I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Slasher in particular, by the way, this guy knows these allegations occurred 4 years ago, got so giddy when he was talking to Lasan, dude. He went on there and he's like, dude, I heard on the Nextdoor app that Doc has been arrested. Breaking news, maybe. I don't know. It's unreported.
His shitty reporting is part of the reason why Doc is going to be able to get away, probably.
Yeah, dude, if Doc gets away with this, it's not because Doc is a fucking master tactician. It's because slashers should never work in this industry again.
Okay. What about this Cody character?
Cody just sounds like your state-of-the-art disgruntled employee who did the one thing that actually led to any discussion on the subject. I think he's a total loser, but like we wouldn't. I mean, Doc would be fine right now if he didn't say anything. So I don't know.
Oh, maybe I'll buy
Yeah.
tickets to his show.
I'm not going to.
But at the same time, I wish he had just like, I don't know, tried to get some evidence if there was any possibility he could.
He should work with Jake Weddle.
Yeah, true. He should work with Dogpack, allegedly.
Dude, if Dogpack covered this story, it would just be like, we would just get like everything is, yeah, I'm just reporting on this, and he would just read every single thing that someone sends him in his Twitter DM.
True. I could message him right now. Doc touched me at VidCon. He accused me.
I'm hearing from multiple credible sources that Doc molested an adult man at VidCon.
Consensually.
How many people do I need to hear from before I can report on it? I talked to him recently too, and it was not good. I said if he doesn't take his video down or like make an actual disclaimer that people can see outside of the read more thing, I'll probably just end up leaking them all so people can hear what he has to say. Because it's yeah.
This is the whole Mr. Beast thing?
Yeah, the Mr. Beast guy.
Is that another episode?
That's another episode.
That's another episode for sure. We can do that when Mr. Beast's response comes out.
Maybe we'll leak him here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel the smile on your face, Nick.
I can visualize the smile being lit up by his stupid ass pinball machines right now.
Dude, I got Godzilla recently.
Oh, dude, his fucking room is sick, bro.
You got more? Great.
I got Godzilla, bro. 4 now.
You have an
We're chilling.
addiction.
I do.
Thanks for listening. Follow our stuff. Do not send Nick any money.
I don't have an addiction. I have a spending problem. Okay? No.
It's going somewhere bad. Follow Vega on Twitter.
Also, I have another podcast, Bamfs and Bourbon. We're recording again soon. So go subscribe to that, please. I don't want to.
Bamfs. Badass mother freakers.
Dude, all the people in the chat are like, bourbon? I can't drink that.
Wait, doesn't Doc make bourbon?
Oh, fuck. We were going to drink his drink, too, but it's never available.
Shit.
Maybe it will be soon. Who knows? Maybe they'll have like a surplus of it.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye, guys.
No, that's not how we end this, Tom.
Oh, yeah, Tom. You got to say the thing.
Thanks for listening. Vega's white. Nick's fat.
True.
I'm gay. Bye.